trial of HBO or Cinemax, plus receive a $20 gift certificate from Spiegel.
Yeah, I got a call. You know where phone...
Oh, yeah, phones are on, too.
HBO. Get to your phone and call now.
Nice sale, Sparky.
To defend your soybeans against weeds, you need power. You need control. You need consistency. You need this Squadron. Squadron herbicide for a higher level of soybean weed control.
UFOs land in Montana?
Can I have the bag, please? Thank you.
He cooks with one hand and he check mix with the other.
Is there anything to eat? I can't keep my hand out of this bag. It's so good.
And you thought Chex Mix was just for parties. Chex Mix. Hey, what are you saving it for?
This is Kentuckiana's 24-hour news channel, WHAS 11. Live at 6 from the leader in television news, Gary Rodemeyer and Melissa Swan. This is Kentuckiana's news channel, WHAS 11.
Why did an airplane with an excellent safety record suddenly plunge into an Evansville hotel parking lot? Today, the military was combing the wreckage of a Louisville-based C-130, looking for answers in the mysterious crash. Good evening, everyone. One investigator says, quote, it's a baffling mystery that will take some time to unravel.
The day after a transport plane smashes into an Evansville restaurant and hotel. Here's what we know. The cause of the crash remains a mystery tonight. Investigators continue to look for clues into the crash that killed 16 people. Was it pilot error or mechanical failure? Investigators say they have found a box that's the size and shape of the plane's cockpit voice recorder. It may provide valuable information into the crash. And the Air National Guard has suspended touch-and-go practice maneuvers. The C-130 crew was practicing that maneuver when the disaster happened.
Meanwhile, federal and state investigators continue to look for other leads that would give them some idea about the cause of this accident.
Our Rachel Platt is live in Evansville now to begin our coverage. Rachel?
Hi, Gary and Melissa. For the past hour, the crane you see behind me has been lifting portions of the C-130, all to be used in this investigation. All 5 bodies of the crewmen have been recovered, and once the debris is cleared, the last body inside JoJo's restaurant will be recovered. And in this debris, the cockpit voice recorder has been found. It's on its way to an Air Force lab. It may help put the pieces of this puzzle together. Behind fire trucks and tarps, investigators work to recover the bodies of the 5 crewmen. One victim inside JoJo's restaurant was removed. Heavy equipment is needed to locate the second victim. The key to the unsolved mystery on this crash may be somewhere below. Today, investigators began their search.
Mechanical problems, aircrew problems, those are all things that are being considered, but no conclusions can be drawn yet.
Late this afternoon, officials recovered what they're hoping will provide clues in this crash, the cockpit voice recorder, a recording of conversations among the crew members.
It's designed to take a fair amount of heat, and so there's still hope, despite the fire damage to the box, that it may have some recoverable information in it.
The maintenance records of this C-130 are also being checked.
The actual maintenance records on the things have been impounded for the investigation board, and they'll go over that with a fine-tooth comb. A general statement about Air Force maintenance, however, is that these airplanes are maintained impeccably. They've got standards for when inspections must be done prior to flight, and we don't waver those things.
For now, though, investigators don't want to speculate on anything. They say no one piece of evidence will explain what happened. And investigators say this is a slow, methodical process. They say the truth takes time. Joining me now is Chuck Olmstead, who attended a memorial service today in Evansville. Chuck?
Well, I'll tell you, Rachel, even as they were removing another body from the restaurant this afternoon, a few miles away in downtown Evansville, a public display of grief as a special mass was held for those who died. Many barely knew one another as they arrived for church, but this afternoon they shared a common fellowship of grief.
John Stallings was also involved with Boy Scouts with us, and he served on our local council in a position there. So it was kind of a tragic shock.
Harry Tinbarge, and we just had gone to church with him yesterday morning, and just real close.
Each had lost a piece of themselves yesterday. A friend that worked in the restaurant, or a buddy among the 9 plumbing supply workers in the inn next door when the flames from the jet fuel engulfed their conference room.
A fiery crash, a ball of flame, instant explosion, instant fire, instant incineration. None of that can separate any of us from God's love for us.
For crash investigators, there's of course a duty to learn how it happened. For those gathered here, though, there's a more elusive question of why. Why our friends?
It's just hard to explain. And the only thing we've got is our faith and prayer, I guess.
Later tonight, the Red Cross plans to open a center in downtown Evansville to provide grief counseling for what could be scores of people touched by this tragedy. Live here in Evansville with Rachel Plattis, Chuck Olmsted. Let's get back to the studio.
Chuck and Rachel, as you've said, we can see the activity going on there behind you. How much longer will that continue tonight and for the rest of the investigation?
Well, they tell us it'll probably be continuing for at least a couple of hours. Indeed, that would put it in several hours of darkness here at the scene as they continue to remove some wreckage. At least a couple of more hours, they say. They'll keep working here.
And to let you know, they've got some light set up back here so they can work well into the night if need be. Back to you, Gary and Melissa.
All right,
Thank you both.
Survivors say the crash of the C-130 created a firestorm right in front of their eyes. WHAS 11's Chris Turner talked with 2 people who escaped from that with just minor injuries.
One survivor says confusion and fear filled the 4th floor of the Drury Inn seconds after the C-130 struck. You can see the heavy smoke and flames accelerated by airplane fuel in home video taken just a few minutes after the crash. Susan Johnson of Mount Carmel, Illinois, about 40 miles to the northwest of Evansville. She escaped after crawling on her stomach through the acrid smoke.
We opened our doors, went out, and it wasn't real smoky yet. By the time we went around the elevator to look at the exit door, which I guess is locked all the time, actual flames was coming out of the bottom of it.
Johnson doesn't remember how she got from the 4th floor to the ground. She was lucky, only smoke inhalation, and she's home tonight. 9 other people on her floor died.
And I said, we just gotta follow that light. I know we can get out, and I'm not gonna die here.
Vanderburgh County Sheriff's Deputy Kent Todisco saw flames in his rear view mirror. He turned his patrol car around, went into JoJo's, and found an eerie scene.
One of the employees thought that he heard someone in the back, but I was right beside him several times. He yelled out the name, and we couldn't hear anything after that, and I didn't hear anything. But it's like a bomb went off in the back of the building, and
what was it like in there?
We couldn't get to him.
Todisco's also at home tonight. He, too, suffered from smoke inhalation. Back to Susan Johnson for a minute. She was asked what, if anything, in her life had compared to her experiences here at the Drury Inn. She said, well, Hurricane Hugo was nothing like this. From Evansville, Indiana, Chris Turner for the News Channel, WHAS 11.
Meanwhile, the Kentucky Air National Guard has suspended training flights for the C-130. The cargo plane is also known as the Hercules. It's the workhorse of the military and is designed for transport of cargo and people. At a news conference this morning, Kentucky's Adjutant General says the Guard is temporarily grounding its C-130 fleet because of the Evansville crash.
Pending the outcome of the investigation as to what's occurred with the aircraft, we're not flying. But our training is continuing.
Officials say pilots will use ground simulators until the C-130 is allowed to fly again. Of course, the 123rd Tactical Air Wing has lost 5 members of its family. Today, John McGrath talked with several members of the unit who say the men lived to fly and died doing what they love. We all know about this.
Yeah, we're all saddened. You know, the Air Guard nationwide is one big family, and Kentucky's no different. It's like losing one of your family.
From the flight wing commander to the enlisted men and women, there were tears filling eyes throughout the Air National Guard headquarters today. Major Mark Krause was close to the crew, who he talked of as respected professionals and as friends.
The kind of crew that I wouldn't hesitate for a moment to climb on an airplane with them and fly anywhere. Each of those crew members individually will probably be remembered for their sense of humor and their professional attitude.
Major Richard Strang, with 4,200 hours in various aircraft, leaves a wife, 2 sons, and 2 stepsons behind. Captain Warren Klingman, with nearly 2,000 hours in the C-130. He and his wife lived in Louisville. Second Lieutenant Vince D. Yankar. He had 287 hours flight time in the C-130. He leaves behind his wife, Ann. For 2 of the 5 crew members, the switch from the F-4 Phantom fighter jets to the C-130 transports meant they would have a chance to fly. Master Sergeants John Medley and Bill Hawkins couldn't wait to climb aboard and be a part of the flight team.
Hawkins and Medley were just thrilled to death because they've been in the unit for a long time, like I said, and when we converted, they went from what they were doing before to being aircrew members, and they worked very hard to become an aircrew member, and they loved it.
The man who said it best talked of John Medley, but his words could fit all 5 crew members.
If any man ever died loving what he did, John did.
John McGrath for the News Channel, WHAS 11.
Those Louisville-based pilots were practicing what are known as touch and goes in Evansville. Now, that's considered one of the basics in learning to fly.
WHAS 11's Doug Proffitt is live at where beginners and veteran pilots use the airport for touch and goes to sharpen their flying skills here in Louisville. Doug?
Gary and Melissa, it's as simple as it sounds and means probably just what you're thinking. Touch and go, landing and taking off over and over again without coming to a complete stop. It is basic training, and we took a flight today at Louisville's Bowman Field. This plane is heading for a touch and go. Inside, this is what happens as pilot Shannon Smith maneuvers a landing and takeoff in a matter of seconds.
Right now I'm getting ready to touch the aircraft down on the runway. And then you can see I'll add full power and we'll just simply take off.
Smith, with Kentucky Flying Service at Bowman Field, does this all the time. It's as simple as it looks, and anyone learning to fly will do this in an airplane. In fact, just one day before the Evansville crash, WHAS 11 took these pictures of a C-130 practicing the very same technique.
All pilots do it. It's like keeping a skill honed. You gotta do it to keep proficient in it.
Colonel John Green is commander of the 123rd Tactical Airlift Wing. He points out that the great thing about the C-130 is that it can handle touch and goes at lower altitudes under varying conditions.
It's a short field takeoff and landing capability.
Is it characteristic for it to just drop like a rock, as we're apparently seeing what happened in Evansville?
No, that's unusual.
The C-130 is obviously king here. Pictures on the wall, models of it in offices. Green calls it a friendly, forgiving aircraft. But he was scheduled to be on the flight that crashed in Evansville. Delays getting him to Louisville bumped him out of the pilot's seat.
I believe in God, I guess, and I guess it wasn't my time. It was not to be.
And you'll be in one of these soon?
Absolutely.
And here at the Air National Guard, the Airlift Wing, they will be doing touch and goes again after the 1-week moratorium that has been placed on that. And we should point out that there have been 4 crashes involving the C-130s doing touch and goes since 1988. This one is considered the 4th wreck. Gary and Melissa, back to you.
Thank you, Doug.
Well, plans are continuing for a memorial service for the 5 Kentucky National Guardsmen killed in the crash. That service will be held on Sunday morning at 9 o'clock at the Air National Guard headquarters at Stanford Field. And this final note, we will wrap up the last 2 days of the Evansville plane crash coverage during a special edition of This Week. That will be tomorrow morning, Saturday morning at 10 o'clock here on Kentuckiana's News Channel, WHAS 11.
And there's more to come tonight on the News Channel. Next, more of our investigative series on bingo.
We'll tell you how some organizations are complaining that the numbers just don't add up.
Store-wide inventory clearance. Now at Evans Furniture and Carpeting. With no payments and no interest for 6 months. Save half price on this 5-piece tile-top dinette. Just $388 at Evans. This complete 4-piece cherry bedroom. Yours for only $7.99. Or this double inclining sofa. Evans clearance price just $4.99. DuPont Stainmaster Carpet. Your choice, plush or textured. Only $11.76 a yard. Installed with pad. Hurry in during Evans Furniture and Carpeting store-wide inventory clearance. Now at all 4 Evans locations.
What do you say? What do you say? Numbers are my life. Numbers never lie. I love them all. So when someone told me I can get a hamburger for 49 cents and a cheeseburger for 59 cents at Burger King, wow. And only Burger King gives me those great flame-broiled burgers fixed any way I like them for terrific numbers like 49 cents and 59 cents. I get chills. It's so exciting. To me, it's a perfect 10.
Your way, right away at Burger King now.
WHAS 11 News is on Saturday morning, 8 to 11. 8 to 11, the only news in town Saturday morning, only on Kentuckiana's News Channel, WHAS 11.
Visit the baseball card and comic book show this weekend at Bashford Manor Mall. This area's largest and finest. Over 100 tables Saturday and Sunday, a D&T promotion.
Oxmoor Center's anniversary and center-wide winter clearance sale Friday through Sunday. A sale so big, it brings out the stars. Meet All My Children's Craig Lawson at Center Court Saturday from 2 to 3.
There goes a rich dude in his $26,000 Lexus.
No, there goes a smart dude in his $19,000 Mitsubishi Diamante.
Oh.
Tonight. It's alive!
Urkel's cooking on Family Matters. Then Mark gets a boxing tip on how to fight a bully.
Hi.
Meet the bully on Step by Step. And Mickey's trading places with a prince.
So, this is life in the colonies.
Speedy time.
Get me some room service.
Then here's one way to get a kid to quit smoking on Billy.
Fresh air. Get close to the floor.
Tonight on ABC and WHAS 11.
And now our investigative series, Bingo. Do the numbers add up? Tonight, hear about churches that say they're suffering because of questionable practices in the bingo business.
On 75.
Our investigation shows that last year in Jefferson County, at least $40 million was wagered on bingo. And by law, all the profits must go to charity. But where's it really going? Former bingo hall workers tell me money is skimmed off the top. And even the people who run the huge bingo halls say pocketing money is easy in the all-cash business. But while bingo is big business for some, it's been a bust for a lot of Catholics lately. They claim the competition isn't playing fair. Sunday morning at Mother Seton Church has a lot to do with bingo on Friday night.
B5.
This is Seton Hall. On Mondays and Fridays, the profits from this hall go to Mother Seton Church.
It's for the survival of the schools and of the churches that are in the economic areas that cannot totally support themselves.
On other nights, other Catholic churches and schools have their bingos here. You might say Seton Hall is shelter from a growing storm. Father Richard Sullivan says Catholics are being run out of the bingo business. He tells me 4 Catholic churches have closed their schools because the bingo money is going elsewhere.
We really are at the end of the rope.
Sullivan says the problem is competition from huge bingo halls offering huge jackpots. One night a month, the main exchange on Dixie Highway offers $60,000 in prizes. But Wayne Lord, the operator of this hall, says don't blame him if the Catholics fail at bingo.
Nobody ran the Catholics out of the business. Catholics, for the most part, elected not to respond to what the players wanted in the bingo business. They were sick and tired of playing in gymnasiums, sitting at school desks and in corridors.
It's something that has been ours, rightfully ours, and somebody we feel like has been taking it away.
But they say the Catholics don't have a sole right to bingo. I have a right to bingo, too.
Anybody has a right to bingo. Catholics operate less than a third of the bingos in Jefferson County. So we certainly don't monopolize it, but we all should be playing by the same rules, and we're not. And everybody should be following the rules, and they're not. And so I have no problem with sharing the game, but we all should be playing by the same rules.
The Catholics do not have a sole proprietary right to bingo. The point is that a lot of other nonprofit organizations can benefit a great deal from bingo, that bingo can be run a great deal better than the Catholics ever imagined it could be.
But the bingo hall operators and the churches just might be undone by a third, more powerful force, the Kentucky Constitution. It clearly says only the state lottery is legal. All others are forbidden. Just last December, a Simpson County, Kentucky judge said these games are unconstitutional. That case is working its way through the court system. Some in the bingo business believe that making waves and fighting one another could hurry the court cases along.
Father, if you press it, you might shoot yourself in the foot?
We've already been shot in the behind end and in the back and everything, so what's to lose?
Kentucky is not the only state with bingo problems. Indiana is now working on several pieces of legislation to control the games. In Massachusetts, the state lottery has taken over control of bingo. And in Pennsylvania, hearings are being held on bingo and